Hello, my name is Ross Ross, a 23-year-old New Orleans creative. I am a youth co-director with Loud Queer Youth Theater.
And my name is Kaya Van Ness. I'm also 23 years old, and I am Loud Queer Youth Theater's company manager.
Loud New Orleans Queer Youth Theater is a program that utilizes culturally rooted methods to cultivate a community of unapologetic Black, queer, and trans performers in New Orleans. In 2020, Loud expanded its programming to include a youth leadership training model and transition experiment. Loud is guided by four core values: active solidarity, undoing oppression, youth leadership, and artistic rigor. We are excited to put those values into practice with the help of NOLA by holding our community-centered event, Phases.
Phases is a seasonal event for young BIPOC queer creatives from ages 18 to 27, where we cultivate a safe space to build community with one another through connection and collaboration. Creatives like us don't have many spaces to gather, share our talents, or network with one another. We value the development of professional and artistic skills of BIPOC, queer, and trans artists in New Orleans as means of liberation. We know that this comes in seasons, so to pay tribute to the end of spring, we are excited to host the first iteration of Phases through an open mic setting with featured performances by members of our community. The first iteration will be themed In Bloom, a spring send-off.
We're excited to connect with creative youth in the city and build networks that will introduce young New Orleanians to creative pursuits, professional development, educational and recreational opportunities, and social services. We hope to make this a recurring event and to build lasting community through connection and collaboration. While products or tools were not developed during this grant, we hope that the youth coming to an event will build and share skills to help strengthen their creative dreams.
Here's a look at our timeline of what we'll be up to before our event, May 26th. We pushed back our event to May 26th because from September to January, we were working on our production Influx, a night of solo performances. We didn't want to put half of our energy into planning for Phases. During Influx, we had a chance to develop our event planning, marketing, and budgeting skills. As we are still in the planning process, no photos have been taken yet, but we are excited to share photos and videos from our event in early June. With the extra time we have made to plan our event, we are taking steps to ensure that the event is successful. We met with young queer BIPOC community members who gave us some insight as to what they'd like to see from Phases. We will be able to properly advertise our event with our extra time. And we have also been able to resource staff from within our community.
How Phases aligns with NOLA's policies of health and well-being. Human interaction is a necessity to our mental health. Mental health studies have shown that depression and anxiety in young queer BIPOC folk has been on a rise from 2020 to 2023. We at Loud find it dire to take action by supporting the improvement of mental health of these folks by starting in New Orleans. Economic stability. We are paying our young adult staff and performers, so about 30% of our budget is going back into the hands of young adult staff. We are also hosting a free event with free food, so financial instability will not be an obstacle for young folks to attend. Safety and justice. In this space, we will not be harassed for our identities or our age. We predict that Phases will cultivate artistic collaborations that will be meaningful to our community and enhance our community's skills and knowledge for world building and our pursuit of liberation.
As we said, funds used towards our project will go back into the community. From our Black-owned venue, our Black-owned food, our queer BIPOC performers, and our queer BIPOC staff.
Our biggest challenge was timing. When we first got the grant, we were deep in production mode for our performance at Ashe Cultural Arts Center, Influx. Through our experience with planning Influx, we realized we needed more time and training to successfully pull off this event. Once our production was over, we entered a rest period that was necessary for our cohort, as this was the first production we had put together in our latest iteration of our transition into a youth-led, youth-run company. We furthered our development with Creating Change, the biggest queer-focused conference in the country, held in San Francisco that ended on Mardi Gras Day. After Mardi Gras, festival season starts, so this made it harder to lock down a venue. Securing a date and a venue was hard, but we finally locked in our event with Cafe Istanbul on May 26th. Not being able to meet Noya's deadline changed the trajectory of our event. Instead of rushing it and producing a half-baked event, we decided to take the time we needed to truly give back to our community. We want people to enjoy themselves so much that they come back for our next phase.
Our wins include, but are not limited to, locking in a date at Cafe Istanbul, May 26th, bringing on Wende Katwiwa, an experienced event planner who really helped us to build a framework for a successful event. We were also able to hold a meeting with members of our community to hear their ideas for phases and what would most benefit them. And a big win for us was receiving this grant and being given the opportunity to take a role of leadership in hosting a youth-led event.
There are many benefits of youth-led change and grant making. We believe that when you give young people the opportunity to take leadership, we do amazing things that encourage others in our generation to feel like they can be a part of that change. Seeing a young person do something amazing inspires other young people to try too. All we needed was to be given the opportunity and the resources. Young people can implement the shifts of our world in real time, thus advancing the betterment of society.
Having a young person give grants is helpful because they know what we want better than someone who is not from our generation and is just making a guess. Having a young grant maker present makes our meetings feel more approachable and allows us to feel comfortable expressing our ideas and our needs. In this process, we were also able to meet other young grantees in our community and learn about the work they're doing.
Thank you for joining me, Ross Ross, and Kaya Van S for our presentation of phases.